Again, welcome to the call monthly Mondays. This is March 1st, and we are marching forward this month. We're marching forward in our health. So I want to meet and greet. We already did that. So everybody did a check-in. Thank you so much. We're going to talk tonight about going mostly vegan. I personally do not believe in diets unless it's a necessity, like a lifestyle. For example, if you're gluten-free because you have bona fide allergens like wheat, like I do, I cannot eat wheat without gross effects, or you're diabetic and you have a diabetic type of diet. So diets do not work. They are 95% ineffective. So I like the word mostly because most of us want to have the option, and we do have the freedom to eat whatever we want to eat. However, I am going to work to persuade you to reduce some of the meat in your diet for several reasons that we'll talk about. So mostly vegan gives you a bit of flexibility and also, and hopefully some of the benefits. Now, if you need to reverse issues, for example, if you need to reverse obesity, or you need to reverse diabetes, reverse heart disease, reverse hypertension, your best bet is going completely vegan, no animal food whatsoever, to reverse the benefits. So all the research points to that if you have those kinds of chronic diseases that are percolating, okay? Now, I'm also gonna go through a easy recipe with you tonight. I call it Southwest salad. It's been one of my favorites this month, and I make it often, but I want you to have something you can easily grab and go that's plant-based, that's easy, and you can make it how you want, and it's very tasty for you. Then we're going to set our monthly goals. I love to do this in the Facebook group because in the Facebook group, you're able to kind of see each other's comments and I can monitor it easier than here. So I'd love you to consider getting on the Facebook group. It's called Whole and Free Health, if you're not familiar with it. And I'm not super active on it, but I do like to get your health goals for the month on there. Okay. The next thing we're going to cover is some upcoming events. So there is a grief conference this weekend. It's completely free. And so I'll share that with you. It's at adamspurpose.com. That is an event. I'll be the MC, but it's going to have great speakers, and you're going to be really helped if you have any grieving you're doing in your life, especially if you're eating over it, right? So a lot of us have lost loved ones, we've lost pets, we've lost jobs. So you can definitely take part in the grief conference. The Kingdom Health series, we're on part 3. So that's also a series that's going to let you learn about the spiritual aspects of health and what that looks like and spiritual root causes of issues. So that'll be on March 13th. And I'll talk about these again if we have time. And then Whole and Free Women is for women. And it will be on Saturday, March 13th at 1 o'clock. The Kingdom Health series is for a fee, but that will be on Saturday, the 13th in the morning from 9 to 12. And then the book 2 course, I will be sending out information. I want you to have the 7 the keys to win the 7 battles of a weight and eating war. If you're interested in that, I will be sending out information. So look out for that. That will be a paid course and series that will equip you to say no to sugar, salt, flour products, as well as extra fats, junk food, processed foods, things of that nature. So if you need some equipment and support for that, as well as other aspects of weight and eating issues, you will want to get on that call and get a preview of the book contents. Okay, let's see what the chat room's saying. Feel free to talk to me in the chat room. I don't have my video on because I didn't have time to do my hair or makeup today. So I'm just not going to worry about it. Okay. All right. So welcome. So why this call? You're all welcome. Thank you. You already shared your name and location, and we'll get to the March goal at the end and hopefully in the Facebook group. But we're talking about going mostly vegan. How many of you are vegan now? Let me know that in the chat room. Let me know that in the chat room. Because what I found is that people are learning the benefits. How many of you feel like you could never, ever give up bacon or animal products? Okay, let me know in the chat room if you are vegan, mostly vegan, vegetarian, regular diet, no discretion yet, or building a little bit. Okay, we're seeing the chats come in. So it looks like, okay, so Teresa says, I was vegan. This is really helpful. Remember to chat with attendees so we can see each other's stuff. John says, no, I could not give up completely. Yeah, at least you know where you're at, John. Hi, John. Great to see you on the call. Ray says, mostly fish. Yeah, I love fish. I hear you, Ray. Okay, Teresa says, I was vegan, but hot flashes got really crazy. And adding in some animal protein really stopped them. That's great. That you're just listening to your body, right? Okay, Wanda, hi. Down to 2 days a week. So 2 days a week of meat or vegan or what you're doing there. I'm not sure. Okay, hi. Violet says regular. Okay, so Violet, what are your health goals, Violet? Just so I know what you're trying to do. Okay, could you repeat the name of the Facebook group? Yes, Whole and Free Health. My husband will not join me if I do it. He has bacon almost every day. All right, you got a good life insurance policy? I think you do, Jill, because that's what you do. By the way, if you need life insurance, talk to Jill. Okay, she's on the line. You're in Colorado. All right, Violet. I hope you're laughing, Jill, but I'm also telling you the truth, okay? All right, there you go. So Teresa says, thanks. Violet says, I'm trying to go vegan. Okay, great. So you're in the right space. Awesome. All right, so there we go. So as far as why go mostly vegan, number one is chronic disease. What we're seeing is like disease obviously is on the rise. I'm going to show you some numbers really soon. So that's one of the main reasons is to reverse prevent chronic diseases, including obesity, weight issues, fatty liver, even arthritis issues, hypertension, diabetes, pre-diabetes, pre-hypertension, all that. Heart disease especially is our number one killer in the United States. And it's because of so much of two things in the diet. So the contributors are saturated fat. We're on saturated fat overload. Think about it. If you eat a lot of fat in your diet, it converts right to fat. So if you're feeling like you're really dealing with fat itself on your body that you don't want, it's unwanted. Some of it's wanted, in certain spots and places. But if it's unwanted, it's because saturated fat converts the fat on the body really fast, right? It goes right in and converts. Refined ingredients, your sugar overload, oil, high fructose corn syrup, sodas, okay, biscuits, cakes, pastries, donuts, candy bars, okay, all of that, candy, chocolate, oil, refined oils like potato chips, pretzels, all that stuff, flour, alcohol, and salt. Flour is refined, that's in any baked good, pizza dough, things of that nature, alcohol and salt. So we have all these refined ingredients happening as well. So that's what's contributing to chronic disease and health issues. And your goal is to be around for your children, to be around for your grandchildren, to be around for your friends, to be around for your family, to be around for your goals, to have the energy and strength to reach your goals, to get your projects done, to get things completed. So there's so many reasons why that we want to gain great health, and veganism is one way to do it. Now, I don't want to explain it in the form of a diet. That's why I say, again, mostly vegan, because 95% of diets do not work. They're ineffective. So like what Wanda's doing as far as reducing over time, she's able to do that because, and it's going to be more effective for her to do it that way, to make sure she's reducing over time, because then it's going to be more sustainable. And hopefully you grab on to the benefits. And I'm going to share many of them with you tonight. The biggest source of our saturated fats and refined ingredients, as well as cholesterol, is meat, fish, and dairy. So if you have high cholesterol, or you have, again, any of these health issues we're talking about, or your trajectory is going towards those health issues, you can reverse it with taking some of this stuff out of your diet. So meat, fish, and dairy are really supportive to end these chronic diseases. And I'm going to show you some examples soon. So making the switch, we're going to also talk about benefits of beans, tempeh, tofu, greens, broccoli. There's so much protein in green vegetables that people just simply are not aware of. So I want to walk you through what that looks like too, because if you are going to try to go mostly vegan, which honestly is just simply going towards health, right? When you go towards health is your divine right as a human being, but we know that there's been some issues with the standard American diet that we have, right? So let's talk about nutrition. So when you have calories, right? Calories are not counted all equal, and the types of foods and where you're getting and consuming those calories absolutely matter. And I'm not necessarily for calorie counting. However, I believe that we do need to have real data if we want to see real change. Real change happens with real data and real information, how much we're consuming, what types of foods. If you ate 1,500 calories of ice cream, it's going to look a lot, or 1,500 calories of meat, you're going to have some different outcomes than 1,500 calories of green vegetables, right? And you'll have to eat an abundance to do that. So calories are, what you see here, the different grams, calories per gram that you get. And what do you see? What's the highest percentage there? What's the highest percentage of a number of calories, meaning it's roughly, there's different research and science on it, but roughly 3,000 calories or even lower than that for most body types is going to yield to weight and problematic, issues in the body. Because again, heart disease, all of that is for diabetes, cancer, all of these are formulated by the same um, pathology in the body, basically. Okay, so they all come from the same genesis in the body, which is diet. They just manifest different ways, but the same diet also heals all of these chronic diseases, which is less meat and no meat. Okay, so what do you see there? So in the chat room, I'm just curious about what you see there. You see that there is fat is going to be the highest density, right, as far as what we eat. So our goal is to make sure we're eating the right types of fat. We need fat in our diet. We absolutely do. We need the right amount, and we don't need excess, because again, the excess is going to convert right over to fat inside the body. Okay. Remember, obesity, overweight is simply a sign of malnourishment. Okay. That's it. It's meaning the body's out of alignment. Weight is a symptom of health problems. It's not the root of it. It's the root is the health. The body's health is getting excess and things it does not need. Therefore, it stores into the adipose tissue. So calorie density, as far as what calories look like in consuming, we often want to save time, right? We want to save time with what we're eating. We want to get the most calorically dense food, which is something like cheese or potato chips or meat or cookies. Okay, we want to get that stuff, but it doesn't fill us up. It just goes in and it doesn't get that fullness that we need. So that means we either eat more or we're just eating the wrong stuff often, okay, and each meal. So we tend to eat less fruits and vegetables on the right-hand side because you need to eat so much more of them to get that same satiation. And we need to do a combination, right, of different foods and have variety. But what you're looking at here is understanding that your oil, look at that, doesn't take up much in the stomach. So fat overall, oil, fat, I'm saying the same things, inside of meat will only take up so much room, okay? But when you're combining it with so much, or actually reducing all of this, you're going to see your body start to heal because you're not putting into it, more and more saturated fat that it just can't deal with. We're only supposed to eat 7%, if actually less than that for most people. Most body types need less than 7% of their daily intake from saturated fat. So you're going to be surprised when I pull up some slides on nutritional value, that is absolutely way over that. And you'll quickly see why eliminating or reducing meat, fish, and dairy products are going to help you elevate your health. Okay. So there's two standards here. One is the Life Abundantly standard, and the other is the Standard American Diet. So I want to talk about this, and we'll continue to deep dive into this conversation. But Life Abundantly Standard is all about what God said to eat. Now, he said in Genesis 1:29 and 30, see, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food. Also to everything in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food. So basically he's saying, eat mostly fresh, alive, whole plant food. That's your grains, your brown rice, your it's really your vegetables, your fruits, okay, legumes, beans, things of that nature that were the primary staple of human diet that is going to yield the highest results. And uncooked is best because once you heat food up over 118 degrees, you lose its nutrients, nutritional value. Now it's better to eat it cooked, but you remember getting collard greens, like in African-American families, especially, we would eat collard greens once a year at Thanksgiving and they were green turned black. You know, they weren't really, they were very cooked, overcooked, and they were still good because the fiber's still in there, the bulk's still in there. But long story short, you're not getting all that nutritional value as if you were to chop up the collards, wash them real good, and have them as a base, you know, not a whole bunch, but a couple of them as a base with romaine or other greens inside of your salad. You're going to get much more nutritional pack for that. So in far as what God had said to eat, this was primary. Now, did he say to eat meat? Sure. He said it during the times of Noah. Now, I don't know if you remember the story of Noah, but he was lost on a boat, okay? Waiting for the downfall to end and to get back to normal living. And God said, sure, well, go ahead and eat whatever, you know, you can eat, basically. And you have permission to go ahead and eat the meat. Now, there were certain types of meat, clean and unclean, which we'll talk about in another time. But and again, all things are permissible, but may not be beneficial. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. But as far as what we're supposed to be eating for our health is divine alignment to what he had said originally for health. And we're eating the standard American diet. So look on the right-hand side, and that's consuming foods and ingredients that create and cause the addictive nature in the brain. They alter taste buds. So you do not want the Life Abundantly Standard. You want the standard American diet. It increases inflammatory states in the body, disordered eating, and like a binge eating is promoted because of the ingredients. If you binge on whatever it is, whatever snacks that you have, it's not you, it's the ingredients in your brain, okay? So they promote a lot of that. Now there is trauma, there's real issues too that cause us to have addictive eating, disordered eating. But for the purposes of today, a lot of it is the food we eat. So unbalanced, inadequate nutrition will promote disease of body, soul, and spirit. So the daily calorie intake in the standard American diet looks more like 60 to 100% processed, highly processed or refined, dirty, dead animal foods, okay? And animal foods, okay? Dirty, dead foods. So naturally, it doesn't lead to health. I mean, just looking at that, right? So there's so much that you can just look at it and say, oh, okay, something's wrong with that picture. Yeah, something's wrong with that picture because these foods are made in manufacturing plants. There's no light to them. There's no life in them. They're simply made to get you to eat them because they're good and they profit, okay? So remember this line, which is frequent addicts, food addicts, make the best frequent shoppers. And I love company, I love business, have no issues with certain capitalism aspects, okay? Not about that. It's about what we want to do for our health and our legacy and our energy. And the standard American diet, the more you partake in it, the more you're going to get chronic disease. So take a look at this. This is an excerpt from book 2. And look at the number of people currently suffering from largely preventable diseases. Now, I just got a new statistic from Dr. Michael Gerber that said only 2 to 3% of these issues that you see on the screen are genetic. The rest of it, okay, before it was 5 to 10%. Now, researchers say it's even less. Most of it's caused by poor diet. Global organizations that study health say number 1 killer is not alcohol, that's number 3, It's not tobacco. That's number two. It's number one, poor diet. Okay. Poor diet, standard American diet. Now look at the fruit of this. We know from the word of God that we produce fruit, right? We want good fruit. Now, if we're not happy with the fruit, guess what we do? We got to look at the roots, my friends. Okay. And here's the thing. What is the fruit of eating this way? Now, 34 million have type 2 diabetes, 87,000 die annually, but it doesn't say how much it costs in prescriptions of insulin, of hospital visits, doctor's visits, amputation. Number one reason for blindness and amputation is because of diabetes, early death because of diabetes type 2. Okay. 88 million have prediabetes. A lot of them don't even know it. Okay. They're suffering from symptoms, eating the same way, thinking it's okay to have dessert 3 times a day, dessert for breakfast, pancakes and cupcakes and muffins and all that fare. And yet having walking around with these kinds of issues. And it only gets worse as we age for a whole lot of factors. Okay, 135 million are obese. Obesity is a chronic disease. And at least the numbers are actually much more staggering than this, but 300,000 die every single year from obesity alone. Okay, whereas obesity is also a factor in all of these issues. You can be skinny, fat, and really unhealthy because you have a great metabolism as well. Okay, so this is not just about the obesity. You can be any size and have these issues because you partake in the standard American diet and won't give that up, okay, because you're addicted in your brain. Okay, that's why. 100 million have heart disease. Look how many die annually. At least 80% of that is from poor diet, if not more. 16 million have cancer. Look how many people are still dying from cancer. These rates are shocking and horrific. And I don't know about you, but I've already lost 2 friends from cancer under 40, leaving children, babies behind. Okay. You know how heartbreaking that was to lose friends? I got to do something on breast cancer because I wrote about it, wrote about all my data for preventing it, and want to get it out there to women, and even men are affected by breast cancer. That's another story. So there's all kinds of cancers. What reverses it? Plant-based eating. In 2016, 1.9 billion were affected by obesity and overweight around the globe. And it's due to the Western diet, you know, so this is tripled rate since 1975. And I want to just get this point home, is that the standard American diet is interchangeable with its truth as a satanic addictive deception. I'll say that on pretty much every call because that's what it is. So satanic addictive deception and Satan's agenda of death to kill, steal, and destroy. Kill, steal, and destroy what? Organs, energy, time. A lot of times when you eat this way, you'll be trapped in entertainment. You won't be productive as you could be. Okay. The acronym SAD represents all 3 because they're one and the same. And the standard American diet is a satanic addictive deception and Satan's agenda of death. Now, this is a reality in the spiritual if we're looking a little deeper, but our whole culture is based on these lies around food. Our whole culture finds this socially acceptable. And even though tobacco was socially acceptable, do you know it took over 7,000 studies and 25 years of research to tell you that you can die from smoking? I mean, that is a lot of effort. Okay. We have compounding lots of data on nutrition, tons of it. Yet the food giants still are not, are trying to change, but it's almost like you really just need farming back. Okay. All right. So there you go. So what's the fruit? What's your thoughts? Now, Michael Pollan says, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. And he has a book called In Defense of Food. I like it because it's mostly vegan as well. So let's take a look here. Now, I want you to understand a couple things about the food we eat. So if you're going, again, mostly vegan, we want to start replacing our meat, our hearty sources, okay, with something that's going to give back. I mean, who wants to love somebody that doesn't love back, right? It's like you want people to love you back. You want it mutual. Some of these foods, first of all, it ain't right how they treat these chickens and animals, all right? I'm going to talk about that a tiny bit tonight. But The other part of it is there's not enough love back. Okay. It's just creating, especially if you're eating these kinds of products for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or on a frequent basis, your body is truly not designed for it, as indicated by the chronic diseases and the trajectory of disease happening, prescriptions, pains, aches, low energy, all of that is telling you something about your diet that's not working, okay, because it's our main source of fuel. So looking at these differences, it's chicken breast on the right, beef on the, I'm sorry, the left, chicken breast on the left, beef on the right. And what you see here is that there is, obviously fair amount of calories, right? You usually don't eat this stuff by itself. So that means you're going to have a meal that's easily going to start tracking for calories. You see all the fat grams. So look out many calories from fat. So that means if you eat, a serving of it, 3 ounces or what have you, you're going to have some fat calories. Now, remember I said earlier, we only need less than for most bodies, it's based on a 2,000 calorie diet. Do you know if you ate 2,000 calories every day and didn't work out, you're absolutely going to be gaining weight for most bodies, especially if you're under, 5'8", okay, 5'9". So this type of diet is not this calorie diet. The percentages here are already skewed. The numbers are already higher because the intake we actually need, especially if you're a female, especially if you're under 5'9" and you don't work out, it's going to be a lot lower than this amount. Okay, so just keep that in mind because they're already, again, skewed. The data is already a lie. Now, total fat is in here. Now, fat is good, right? We need fat. It hydrates the body. The second most dominant liquid in your body besides water is oil. It's used in all kinds of production in the body. We need healthy fats to contribute to that. There's all kinds of them. There's so many. But the key is getting the right kind, right? And the right frequencies of them. The problem with foods like chicken and beef and such, they don't have any of the kinds we actually need. They're just the kind, they're excess already from the get-go. And then you combine it with fried food, you're getting refined fat, which is saturated fat as well. So you're just getting a lot of it in a course of a day, let alone a week, let alone a month. And this is adding up and we wonder why we struggle, okay? So you also see here, if you have cholesterol issues, I almost want to post my cholesterol results from changing my diet. My cholesterol wasn't ever high, but I will tell you that I was amazed by the results of plant-based eating on that and my blood pressure, just from cutting it all out. So as far as your cholesterol is concerned, where do you find cholesterol? You find it in meat, dairy, fish. That's where cholesterol is. Okay, it's in your eggs, it's in your cheese, it's in all those yummy foods that we love, right, in the meat department. So that's where it is. If you need to cut cholesterol, guess what the fastest way to do it is? Stop eating it. Stop contributing to excess and not the good kind. Sodium is also going to be found in all meats, right? It's good preservatives in there. And then you get some good stuff like potassium in there, but you don't get a lot of nutrients. You get iron, but even so, Americans are very much iron deficient. Why is that happening? Because of the type of iron that you're getting. We just need the right quality because the other things are happening in your metabolism at the same time, from having your liver having to digest all, and your pancreas and your gallbladder, if you have one, and your stomach acid, all of this stuff working together to continue to eat a diet that it's overloading the system on a frequent basis, has no time to heal. Your body is constantly in a healing state. But the problem is we keep feeding it stuff that's causing it to have to start again. It's like cleaning. I saw a picture once of cleaning up a water spill. But the problem with the water spill is it kept going and you couldn't get it clean because, by the time you try to mop it, it's still dirty again, right? So to get ourselves healed and heal our body, remember, all these issues are a part of healing. We need to be willing to let go and just see the results. Start doing experiments and testing with those results. Yeah, I love your comments. Thank you. Now you get a ton of protein in here. Now what's also interesting is fascinating research about how much protein we need. The number of protein you need is 0.46 6 times your body weight. Okay, it's very low number of grams of protein that we need. The lower, the more protein you're eating, too much excess actually does store as fat as well. Same as too much sugar, too much carbohydrates stores as fat as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We worry about protein, and you'll be amazed by how much not worrying about protein, which America, we'll never have a problem with too little protein. Okay, we just don't have that issue. Other countries do. We don't have that issue. Okay, because of the way we eat abundantly. All right, let's go to the next thing. So I'm going to share with you about, again, protein and what you're getting nutrition-wise in 3 cups of collard greens. Now, this is a lot of collard greens. 3 cups. It's so easy to eat. Your body's hungry for it. You're still going to get calories from fat, only it's a better distribution of everything else. So you're not getting the cholesterol. You're getting double the amount of potassium. You're getting double, look at that. You're getting fiber. Look at that. You get no fiber in these foods. Now, many of you already know this, but fiber is essential for great health. Most Americans get 10 to 15 grams of fiber per day. How much do you need to thrive? About 50 grams. Okay, 35 to 50 grams. If you only focus on fiber, okay, real fiber, not from artificial fiber like Metamucil put in stuff and whatnot. But if you only focus on fiber, you're going to see your health improve because now your body has the cleaning aids to clean it. It's like a window. If you didn't have any Windex, it's hard to get that window clean or that mirror clean. If you put fiber in your body, it's scrubbing. It's a scrub brush and spray. It's going to heal your body just eating dietary fiber, but you don't get any of that in meat. That's why you have to eat other things with it usually. Okay, so you get in your collard greens and quinoa. Quinoa is a grain. Technically, it's, has some protein in there. It has lots of good stuff you can see there. So I just want you to observe the differences. Now look how much nutrition you're getting. There's a difference between the recommended daily amount, okay, the recommended daily amount, the 100% vitamin C, that kind of thing, versus the optimal for living. There is a big difference, okay? You can eat so much vitamins, and nutrients that are in plant-based foods, and your body knows exactly what to do with it. There's very, very, very little cases of people ODing on any nutritional, vitamin, okay? Do you know they treat cancer in some countries with 100,000 milligrams of vitamin C? They treat tumors and things like that in other countries. It's fascinating. And that's so much more than we need, right? That's supreme treatment. But it's fascinating how much we can thrive when we're giving our bodies back nutrition. Now, the other thing is meat products, digesting the meat products. Let me talk about that. Okay, just want to give you this here. Digesting the meat products. So everything on the right-hand side, including meat and cheese and all of our snacks and comforts. Guess what? Those foods take from the body. Now you think you're giving to the taste buds, you're giving to your brain, you're giving to your comfort and your emotional self, and I understand, okay? But the problem with that is it's actually taking from other places. Let's talk about meat. In testings for meat and beef, there was a grocery store that tested the meat, okay? And they tested for bacteria. They tested for not only, harsh bacteria, but the kind that's lethal, that makes like your immune system not fight off disease or ward off disease because it's that brutal, okay? Those kinds of bacteria. In all the samples, there was terrible bacteria, deadly bacteria, cancerous bacteria. And in a good percentage of them was the lethal kind of all the meat tested in the grocery store, okay? So you're not just getting the meat. These days, these animals are not treated right. The Word of God says to treat animals right, humanely. We know that animals are special, okay? They are. And I'm not a big animal activist, but I am definitely not for what's going on. With 99% of chickens, for example, they're in factory farms. And I don't know how familiar you are with that. Let me know in the chat room. Are you familiar with factory farming? Here's the thing. You get bacteria, you get hormones because they need these animals to be pregnant often to feed the population, the demands, the gluttonous eaters of meat, the Bible refers to. So our world population growth is actually a problem because we eat so much meat. And that meat to get produced is in these factory farms. These factory farms are basically like, you know, I would describe it, but I don't want to do that on this call, but it's very, very disgusting. Okay. So they have animals of all kinds, pigs, turkeys, chickens. A lot of chickens in the United States are through factory farm. Pretty much if you're eating at a restaurant, definitely if you're eating at any fast food joint, which I pray you can cut out. God delivered me from fast food in 2004, like traditional, Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A so much. And he delivered me, and I just praise the Lord for not going to I was a Wendy's girl. I was a Chick-fil-A girl. I was Burger King. I had McDonald's. I went all of them all the time, 3 times a day drive-throughs. And I just got deliverance overnight when I realized what was going on with the food, which was a miracle back then. It was like parting the Red Sea. So it's possible, friends. But the other point I'm making is that you're not just getting the meat, you're getting the bacteria, you're getting the hormones, you're getting the energy quality of the meat, and it's dead food. It's dead food. So as far as the nutritional value, which you're seeing on the left and the right, the more of these foods you can eat, and you have to eat a lot more to get healthy in your body. The more you eat, there's something called volumetrics. So the more you eat, you fill the stomach, especially with huge bowls of nutritional elements. I'll talk about making a salad that you can try this month and seeing how that works for you. And reduced on the right hand side, the creams, all of that. There's a story about Jim Baskins, who is the son of Irv Baskins of Baskin Robbins. Okay, so they had a tremendous wealth, success, but the uncle Bert Baskins dropped dead of a heart attack. Or Robbins, I'm sorry, Jim Robbins. So I love that story because Jim Robbins was an activist, and he was getting so sick because they had like ice cream shaped swimming pools. They had all kinds of ice cream for breakfast, but the cream and the dairy all the time caused him to be quite sick and caused his uncle, Bert Baskins, to have a heart attack. So he left the company. He foregoed his huge wealth to do what's right by the planet and do what's right in health and by people. And he wrote a book called Diet for a New America and another one called Food Revolution that are pretty awesome books and give you lots of insight and information. But it's just fascinating how these products are widespread, but they're really not helping our health cause or our family or our legacy or our productivity or our hearing from God or emotional body, because they numb the emotional body and are less effective. Okay. So I hope you understand that there's lots of reasons for going mostly vegan, cutting down meat, allowing your body to heal, mainly reducing that fat is helpful for your liver. Your liver does thousands of functions every single day. Your body is always going through its blood, right? It's always filtering blood. And we want to make that process a lot easier. If you have fatty liver, anything like that, we want to get the fat down. And the way to do that is less meat. Okay. You want to eat avocados. You want to eat nuts. You want to eat less salty nuts, but that's how we do it. So a few tips on one way to do it is start to increase your greens. Now, how do you do this? You make a big batch of green vegetables. Like I do this once a week, once every 10 days, a big bin of collards, kale, cabbage, romaine. It can be anything. I do chard. It depends on the week, but you just grab some dark green leafies and you can mix them with the lighter greens like romaine or green lettuce. But having some of that real greens that are like cabbage is loaded with potassium. If you want to reverse hypertension, load up on your greens, like eat much more than you currently do. And then you'll eat less dressing as well. but it's really fascinating how your body starts healing the more nutrition you give it. It's like you can't overeat this. And they have thylakoids in them, which helps you reduce your cravings, your sugar cravings, your baked good cravings. You're going to reduce cravings the more you eat your actual nutrition that's going to match the body's needs in abundance and start restoring you versus depleting you. So 3 to 4 cups of these greens. Sometimes I'll put 5 or 6 cups in there. A cup or less of or more or less, it doesn't really matter. When you're on this kind of way of eating, it's really fascinating because all the fiber helps things move through your system. So you'll see your weight start reducing. You'll see your energy start coming back after a week or two. Once your system is cleaning out more, you're going to see that change happen. So I just want you to experiment with things like I never ate beans before. Why? Because they're high carbohydrate. We're scared of carbohydrates, but you know what? They're not high in fat and high in cholesterol. They're also high in fiber and lots of iron, good iron that gets in there. So this kind of way of eating is pretty fun because you can eat more. If you like to eat like I do, why not try it out? Okay, just try it out. Cherry tomatoes, peppadews. Peppadews are those sweet peppers. You can try those, or pepperoncinis are really good too. It's up to you. And I get stuff already like packaged, ready to go because I have short time, right? So I want to get all that stuff in there. Sun-dried tomatoes, chop those up or get them julienne. So you just pull them out, dry the oil off, slap them in there. Very delicious. Roasted red peppers. They're also jarred and you just pull them out. Again, they're usually in like a water oil base. So you want to get that, you want to pat it dry, put them in there. If you have time, if you don't, just throw them in there. And then a can of unsalted organic sweet corn you can find at the grocery store is just fine. Now there's lots of issues with this or that, but you know, the end of the day, if you're eating your nutrition, then it's okay if it's canned. Okay. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about soaking everything if you don't need to, or you don't have time for that. Okay, half avocado optional. I tend to reduce my overall intake of fat. And then you can do like something fun, like tortilla strips. They have the tricolor ones that you can get. They're usually on sale. Put some of them in there for some crunch or fun, or you can do pumpkin seeds or any kind of seed or nut to give it a little crunch if you need it. If you don't, all the better. And then some red onions in there. And you, as long as your base is really full, this is a delicious salad. You can make this simpler. You don't need all this stuff in there. Okay. So if you want it even simpler, just cut out 1 or 2 things you don't care for or can't find. You're still good to go with a few of these ingredients. And it's still quite tasty. You can do vegan dressings. They have lots of options. You just want to watch the amount, of course. And then consider, you know, I always advocate, like Chef AJ does, balsamics, because they're just delicious, the California balsamics. So you want to try that. I don't know if you can see me or not. I didn't get to put on earrings, but all right. So this is a salad I love to make. I make it often and it's just really easy. And you, again, bigger the better when it comes to greens and eating those greens. Okay, any questions? Let me check the chat room out, see what your has going on. Yes, it is yummy, Angelique. Hi, Jen. Is it best to sprout beans? Yes, but who has time for it? It doesn't take long. It's just getting in the habit. Sprouting beans, for those of you that don't know, is about taking, you know, you can basically jar. It's not hard to do. It just takes time. So it depends on what your lifestyle is like, because your way of eating has to fit in your lifestyle. I was amazed by how my lifestyle is like easy, efficient. I like to spend my time writing, ministering, you know, doing work and other stuff. I love this way of living. It's so easy. I just can take oranges in the morning, eat those for breakfast. I mean, fruit for breakfast is wonderful for lots of reasons. You only need to make sure you eat enough calories of it so you're not craving all the other stuff. Okay, you have to eat enough. That's so important, which we'll talk about in a future call. But it's just so easy. And I'm like, gosh, this is wonderful. You know, it's less expensive. Meat's expensive. Okay. I mean, I'll make a turkey salad and things like that once in a while for friends and things, but you know, it's expensive to live like that. It's so I can spend only literally less than $30 a week at Whole Foods getting at Whole Foods, which they used to say is whole check, but since Amazon took it over, it's not bad. But I can get all that for my greens for the whole week plus, right? It's amazing the deals you can get with greens. Sprouts is local. So yeah, while it's best to sprout beans, why it's best to soak them, do what works for your lifestyle. If can works, guess what? That's better than a big old, slap of ham. All right. So go for it. Go for it. Get the low salt if you can, low sodium, because that helps overall in the body too. All right. All right. So Jill says she rinses hers from the can. I do the same exact thing. Sandy says, hi, Sandy. So glad you're here. Oh, you just tuned in. I did record it. Yes. I love the fruit for breakfast. I can do this. Yes, you can. Here's the thing. I want you to cut down standard American diet fare. Your best results and you can get over the cravings when you're eating nutrition, right? The cravings start to dissipate naturally when you have enough, like even the smoothie idea. So I like to get greens in too. 2 bananas, 4 cups of spinach, 4 cups of baby kale, or half and half. All right. If you're really, excited. But that's a quick breakfast that fills you up. And I know it's medicine. It's real medicine. Your prescriptions have a bunch of side effects. Your prescriptions they're expensive. They have side effects. They're lifelong if we don't get out of them. You can reverse this stuff when you treat your food like a medicine. Hippocrates said that your medicine be thy food and food be thy medicine. It's true, because these green vegetables, if we get them in, especially early in the day, mangoes, put a couple of frozen mangoes in there, a bunch of, kale or something, blend it up, and there you go. Don't worry about it. It's simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. And if you really need pancakes and donuts and all of that, just give it a week or two to get through. Let your body do some healing. Love yourself, love your body, love yourself, love your body. Eat like you love yourself, and eat like you have a destiny and a plan of God in your life, okay? Because you do. So what's your goal between now and then? I want you to go to the Facebook group and put that in there. All right. Yeah. Jen, thanks for sharing that. She says she got healed of hyperthyroidism. So did I. I still have to make sure I take supplements, okay? And eat a certain way, right? But hyperthyroidism they'll make you think you have to take forever. I took some pills last year and it caused me to gain weight. It was really hard for me to go through, but I felt like God was doing that for the book contents and quality, and was able to get off that medicine real quick. Ray says Mediterranean chopped salad kit, wash and steam. Yummy. Okay. All right. I love all my foodies on here. Okay. What is your goal? Go ahead and put that inside the Facebook group. I'll send a link out right after this call along with the recording. And what I want you to do is really work towards it, participate, share your updates, share ideas, share meal plans that are standard American diet fare free, and some announcements for you. I will also get you this information, except for the grief symposium. You can go to adamspurpose.org, adamspurpose.org. You can check that out. For Whole and Free Women, you can go to wholeandfreewomen.com, join the mailing list there. Whole and Free Women or Whole and Free Women Facebook group. And there you go. So that is it for today. Any comments, questions? You feel motivated going mostly vegan? All you need is some beans. If you don't like beans, that's okay. You can try tempeh. So easy to make. Tofu, look up recipes online. If you don't like either of those, that's okay too. Just eat more greens. Collards have tons of fiber in them. And if you need to eat your meat, just try to cut back. Okay, just cut back a bit. It'll still give you some benefits. All right, friends, I loved being with you tonight. I hope you take something away, but most of all, I hope you feel motivated in the Lord. You can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens you, and you can prosper in health. You are meant to prosper in health. You are meant for the abundant life, and keep turning down that suggestive voice in your head that says you need that donut. You don't need that donut. It can't do anything. That voice has no power, no arms, no legs, no car keys. You don't need that donut, and you can tell it so. Rise up in power. So, Father, we just thank you for this time. We give you all the glory, honor, and the praise. And we just bless your holy, mighty, awesome, wonderful name. In Jesus' name, amen. Go for whole and free health. All right. Bye, folks. Amen. Good. I'm so glad. Thank you for your feedback.